Greetings, fellow carbon-based bipeds. I am Scott Rose, and you are watching Explosions and Stuff. Today, I'll be reviewing Skin Trade, starring Dolph Lundgren, Tony Jaa, and Michael Jai White. A basic overview of Skin Trade is that a New Jersey detective whose family has been killed by an international sex trafficker teams up with a cop from Bangkok, Thailand, to take down his criminal empire. The pros of this movie: while it was very well written, the story was very engaging, and I found myself caring very much about the well-being of these characters involved. The fight scenes were amazingly choreographed. They were just absolutely beautiful and brutal and savage when they needed to be. The acting was superb, especially from Ron Perlman, who played the main antagonist. The cons of this movie: well, like most action movies of this last decade, it was fairly predictable. I could tell what was going to happen just by things that were happening before. Also, at times it was inconsistent. Primary example is in the first gun battle, they used these dust squibs, I call them, I don't know what they're actually called, where you see when the bullet hits, you just see this cloud of dust instead of blood like you would with a regular squib. It's very common to see those in a PG-13 action movie because they tone down the blood to get the lower rating. But 5 scenes after the first gun battle, they were in a strip club and they had topless women, which you would never see in a PG-13 movie. Also, every gun battle after the first one used regular blood squibs, so it just seemed like an odd choice to use those dust squibs in the first one. There are also some useless characters, most notably Ron Perlman's character's grandkids. They had no reason to be there. They weren't mentioned before the 2 seconds they appeared on screen, and they weren't mentioned after the 2 seconds they appeared on screen. They had no effect on the film one way or the other. They just didn't need to be there. Also, kind of a personal gripe is Dolph Lundgren's fight scenes just made him look like a lumbering brute. In reality, he is a very skilled martial artist and has won many tournaments. I personally would just like to see him use his martial arts skills in a movie, but because of his size and the size of other people he tends to star with, it just makes more sense for him to be a lumbering brute, I guess. My favorite fight scene would have to be Tony Jaa versus the main antagonist's son. It was just absolutely brutal and savage, and it was just deadly looking. Also, there were a lot of cannon fodder people for Tony Jaa to work his way through before he got to this antagonist. And it was just, he used his environment to his advantage and was jumping around doing all his Muay Thai like Tony Jaa does. And it just looked absolutely savage. There's no other way to describe it other than savage and brutal. You looked at this and you're like, how did this character not die? It was just amazing. A close second would be Tony Jaa versus Michael Jai White about halfway through the film. My overall thoughts on this movie: while I do have some complaints about it, they're easily forgivable. I could easily get past all these little inconsistencies because everything else was just done so well. The fight scenes were amazing. It was well written. It was well directed. I loved it. I would easily recommend buying a copy of it. I would recommend it to everyone I know. If you enjoy action movies, if you enjoy fight scenes, if you enjoy martial arts, if you enjoy gun battles, you will enjoy this movie. It has something for you. It doesn't hurt that it's also based on a real-world issue with the rise of sex trafficking going on. So, my rating, I give it 2 thumbs up. I love it. I would recommend it to everybody. Now, if you like this video, please thumb it up and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos like this. Thank you, and have a nice day.